Nina was a radiant young woman. When she married Chuka, her laughter danced through the narrow alleys of the quiet compound in Nsukka, and her dreams were stitched with hope of a joyful home. Chuka, though not rich, treated Nina with love, respect and care, and they both had a happy home. When she discovered she was pregnant with their first child, her heart brimmed with joy. She prepared her husband's favorite meal, sang while cleaning. She knew Chuka loved children, and they had both agreed to have 5 kids. She broke the news to Chuka, and he seemed like the happiest man in the world. He acted so happy at first, but the moment Nina's body started changing, the sparkles in his eyes dimmed, replaced with a distant coldness. Conversation became strained, and he started avoiding her. Nina believed it was the fact that Chuka couldn't give them the life he dreamt of. There was this contract he was chasing, and he had often bragged to his wife that if it pulls through, he will get her pregnant and buy her a very nice car so she wouldn't be trekking while carrying their child. Maybe Chuka was anxious about fatherhood, she thought. Chuka resented everything that the pregnancy brought. He refused to help her when she was sick or throwing up. My mother never behaved like this when she was pregnant, he would say with scorn. When she spits, he would shout, "You are so dirty and irritating." When she craved for something, he would say, "You are not the first woman to ever get pregnant." Naina soon started putting on pregnancy weight, and Chuka's resentment got worse. He began to monitor her food intake. "You eat too much, Naina. No wonder you're getting fat," he often muttered. Eventually, he reduced her food allowance, insisting she needed to discipline herself. Despite the nausea, swollen feet, and constant fatigue, Nina forced herself to remain cheerful. She washed his clothes, prepared his food, and endured the shame of being called lazy whenever she sat down to rest. Sometimes, she would pass out in the bathroom, crying quietly so no one would hear. The man who once adored her now detested the mere sight of her presence. He refused to touch her, even when she told him the doctor advised they have more intimacy to help the child grow stronger. Her spirit dimmed, but she held on, convinced it was just a rough patch. 9 months later, Nina delivered their son, Ebuka. The warmth in their home had turned to ice. Pregnancy has left her body marked and changed, and Chuka made no effort to hide his disgust. He would often play with the baby, barely acknowledging Nena. To the outside world, they seemed fine, but inside the house, there was a cold war. Unbeknownst to Nena, Chuka had already taken a mistress. He started disappearing over weekends, returning with unfamiliar colognes and lipstick stains. Nena once found a bracelet tucked beneath their mattress. When she confronted him, he struck her with a fury that silenced her for weeks. "Don't you dare question me," he roared. That night, she rocked Ebuka in her arms, tears soaking the baby's clothes. Chuka still showed no affection to her, but showed affection to his son. He called him little man, but the moment Ebuka clung to his mother, Chuka turned cold. The coldness in their home widened, built on pain, pride and silent suffering. A year after Ebuka's birth, Chuka had still not made love to his wife. He sex-starved her and body-shamed her, and that continued for another year. All efforts from their church marriage committee to talk to Chuka proved abortive. Nina tried her best with the little money she had to look sexy for her husband. All to no avail. She bought sexy lingeries, went for exercise every morning, did sit-up, and even started portion control and lemon intake. But the fat in her belly only melted a bit, and that was not enough for Chuka. One night, Chuka had gone out as usual and returned home drunk. He pounced on Nnenna, who was deep asleep, and eventually forced his drunken self on her. The next morning, when he woke up and saw himself beside his wife Nnenna, he pushed her down in anger, accusing her of taking advantage of his drunken state. He went out and didn't come back for a whole week. Few weeks later, Nnenna became pregnant with their second child. She hoped it might heal the cracks in her marriage. She prayed it would bring back the love they had once shared. But instead, things got worse. Chuka accused Nnenna of cheating on him and carrying a bastard child. He threatened to dissolve the marriage and mocked her body openly now. "You are becoming a whale," he would say anywhere, anytime. "No man would look at you twice," he sneered one evening after dinner. He told her that she was deliberately letting herself go, using pregnancy as an excuse to overeat and avoid housework. Nina's health declined with the second pregnancy. She experienced intense back pain, swollen joints, and fainting spells, but Chuka showed no concern. If she spent too long in bed, he would kick the mattress and back. "Lazy woman, pregnant woman still fetch water in the village. Go and do something." He gave her less money than before, claiming it was just for his son. She often had to eat plain garri just to fill her belly, while Chuka bought fried meat and beer for himself and his guests. Her body ached and her heart bled, but the children became her anchor. She would rub her stomach and whisper, "I am doing this for you." The only joy she found was in imagining a future where her babies would grow up in peace. Yet, each day in Chuka's house chipped away at her hope. She no longer recognized the man she married, and deep down she feared she might be losing herself too. A month after the birth of their daughter Adaeze, Chuka's mistress began showing up in their house. At first, it was under the guise of business. Chuka said she was just helping him manage his building material store. But soon, she started spending nights in their home. Nnenna watched in horror as a stranger slowly replaced her in her own house. The woman, Amara, was bold and rude. She insulted Nnenna openly and once poured water on her food, claiming it smelled. Amara was a beautiful slim young lady of 22 years. Chuka had met her in the bar where he normally drank at night, and they soon started a relationship. Chuka loved her body, and he spent every dime he made on her to keep her happy. Amara took Nnenna's place in the house and turned Nnenna to a maid in her matrimonial home. Chuka said nothing. He let Amara occupy his bedroom, while Nnenna and the two children were pushed to a corner of the sitting room. The children cried from hunger some nights, but Chuka, drunk on palm wine and Amara's flattery, told them to be quiet. He still said he loved his son, but called Dada a bastard. He kept accusing Nnenna of infidelity. Nnenna would walk for hours to fetch firewood or hug vegetables just to buy food for her babies. She boiled yam with oil and mashed unripe plantain into soup so they wouldn't sleep on empty stomach. Neighbors began to whisper. Some offered help, but Chuka warned them to stay out of his family matters. She's a disgrace. She chose this life, he told anyone who asked. And so, with the baby tied to her back and her toddler clinging to her leg, Nena endured. Each day was longer than the last. But somewhere inside her, a tiny ember of defiance began to burn. Chuka finally won the contract he was chasing. He kept it a secret from Nena, but told Amara, his mistress, and she encouraged him to chase his wife away so they could enjoy the money alone. The final blow came that rainy afternoon. Nena returned from the market, drenched and exhausted, only to find her belongings thrown outside. Chuka stood at the door, face blank, arm crossed. Leave, you don't belong here anymore, he said coldly. Behind him, Amara leaned against the wall, smirking with folded arms. Nena begged, not for herself, but for the children. Ebuka had had a fever. Adeze hasn't eaten. She clutched at Chuka's shirt, but he shoved her hard. Take your cursed children and go. I want peace in my house. Neighbors gathered, some shaking heads, others whispering. No one dared interfere. With trembling hands and a pounding heart, Nena picked up her few items. She carried Adeze on her back and held Ebuka's hand. Her dignity was in tatters, her future uncertain. They walked into the storm. With no family nearby, nowhere to go, Nena wandered the muddy streets of Nsukka for hours. Her wrapper was soaked thorough, the children crying from hunger and cold. She knocked on the door of an old friend, but many turned her away, fearing Chuka's wrath. It wasn't until nightfall that Mama Ifeoma, a widowed trader who once bought vegetable from her, let her into a small backyard hut behind her house. You and the children can stay here for now, Mama Ifeoma said softly. The space was cramped, with a leaking roof and torn mat on the floor. But to Nena, it felt like a palace. That night, she used her hair tie to cover the children, sat in the corner and cried silently. Life didn't get easier. She woke up at dawn each day, carrying Adeze on her back and holding Ebuka's hand as she walked from street to street hawking vegetable for Mama Ifeoma. Her earnings were barely enough to buy food and few spoons of akamu, but she refused to beg. Her pride, though battered, still held. One day, Ebuka said, Mama, why doesn't Papa love us anymore? She didn't have the answer. Her heart shattered anew, but she smiled and said, because some people forget how to love, but we won't. Even in the darkest hour, Nena never stopped dreaming of a better life. The pain had not broken her. It was shaping her into someone new. Nena began to sell roasted corn and groundnuts in front of the local school. She borrowed a small stool from Mama Ifeoma and used a rusted metal tray for her goods. Each morning she sat under the blazing sun, her baby on her back, and called out to passerbys. Children from school started buying from her, and slowly she began making just enough to buy fresh food for dinner. One kind teacher, Miss Uju, noticed her consistency. You're always here, rain or shine, she said one day. Nena smiled shyly. I have to be. My children must eat. Miss Uju offered to help. She connected Nena to the school PTA and arranged for her to supply snacks during break time. It was a small start, but to Nena, it felt like a miracle. Chuka heard from a relative that Nena was still in town, managing on her own. Instead of admiration, he felt insulted. He sent a warning through a cousin. Tell her to stop using my name for pity. I have moved on. But Nina wasn't using his name. She was building her own. Slowly, a small network of women began to support her. They pooled money and shared trade secrets and encouraged each other. From pain, she found a sisterhood. Every night, she knelt before her sleeping children and whispered, "One day you will smile again, and I will too." Nenna's small business grew steadily. She expanded from roasted corn to fried akara and kunu drink. The children at the school loved her snacks, and teachers began placing personal order. Each evening, she returned to the tiny hut with a fuller tray and a growing sense of dignity. One afternoon, as she was packing up, a woman in a clean wrapper and tea glasses approached her. "Are you Nena?" she asked. "My name is Miss Okoro. I work with a local women's cooperative. I've been hearing about you. Would you like to attend a free workshop on a small business training?" Nena hesitated. Her heart raced. She looked down at Adeze, tied to her back, and then at Ebuka, chasing butterfly nearby. "Yes," she said softly. "I would like that very much." The workshop changed everything. For the first time, Nena learned how to keep records, manage profits, and even save. She met other women like her, widowed, abandoned, abused, but all of them determined to rise. They laughed, cried, and worked together. The sisterhood grew stronger. She began to save in a cooperative thrift, and in a few months, she bought a second-hand table and a wooden umbrella for shade. Her stand now looked like a real shop. The ember of defiance within her had become a flame. The cooperative workshop opened doors Nena had never imagined. After a few months of consistent effort, she was invited to pitch for a grant offered by an NGO supporting single mothers. Nervous but determined, she stayed up late every night practicing her speech, developing her business plan. On the day of the pitch, she wore her cleanest wrapper and borrowed a hair tie from Mama Ifeoma. When she stood before the panel, her hand trembled, but her voice was steady. She told them her story, not with tears, but with quiet strength. She talked about hawking corn with her children, learning business skills, and wanting to start a proper food business. Her words moved the judges, and to her shock, she was selected as one of the winners. She received a small grant and a brand new food cart. The news spread quickly. Some cheered, others gossiped, but Nena focused on her part. With the new cart, she began selling jollof rice, moi moi, fried yam, and drinks. Her stand became popular with students, laborers, and even teachers who came from far to eat her food. She hired a young girl from the village to help her. As her business grew, she also transformed physically. The stress weight began to melt away, replaced by toned arms and a glowing face from daily work and better food. Her eyes now sparkled with confidence. For the first time in years, Nena felt alive. And Chuka, he had no idea the woman he once mocked was becoming a force to be reckoned with. Nena's food cart became a symbol of hope and resilience in the community. Her jollof rice was the talk of the streets, and even school teachers made weekly orders. She greeted everyone with kindness, her eyes calm and steady, her hand always held high. Adese often played nearby with other children, while Ebuka sometimes helped with serving water to customers. They were not rich, but they were at peace. One sunny afternoon, as Nena was packing leftover food into container, a black SUV rolled to a slow stop behind her stand. The tinted window lowered and there he was, Chuka. Time had aged him. His once proud face looked worn. The lines of stress deep across his forehead. He wore dark glasses, but his smile was unmistakable. "So this is what you've become, selling food by the roadside," he scoffed, glancing around at the setup. "From the wife of a businessman to this?" Nena looked up at him, her face blank. "And you?" From a father and a husband to a stranger, life does change people. He coughed again, but she noticed the unease in his eyes. Around them, customers and neighbors watched in silence, some whispering. One woman from the cooperative walked by, offering Nena a proud nod. Chuka noticed. Stop telling people I abandoned you, he snapped. My name is still yours. No, Nena replied calmly. You gave it away. I built something new. Without another word, Chuka rolled up his window and sped off. But at night, Nena couldn't sleep. She thought about his face, the bitterness, the jealousy. He has not come to check on the children. He had come to see if she was broken. And he had failed. The next day, more customers came, some saying they admired her strength. Nena smiled quietly. For once, the whisper was not of pity, but of respect. And in that, she found more healing than words could give. Days turned into weeks. Nena's business continued to grow. With the help of her cooperative friends, she expanded from a street food stall to a small shield painted blue and white. A signboard was hung boldly above, Mama Ada's Delight. Her children helped her with cleaning and serving, and every evening they all sat together to count the daily earnings. The pain of the past still lingered, but it no longer controlled her. One morning, Ebuka came running from the main road, excitement lighting up his face. Mommy, there's a woman looking for you. She's driving a big car. The woman turned to be Madam Kelechi, the owner of a catering company in town. She had tasted Nena's food during a community event and was impressed. I want you to supply for one of our weddings, she said. Your food tastes like home. Nena blinked in disbelief. She had only just gotten her feet on the ground. And now this. She accepted the offer with a grace and tears in her eyes. That single event opened doors. More bookings followed. Nena soon hired 2 helpers. But with each new success came a reminder of where she had come from. Some nights she still remembered the hunger, the insult, the swollen feet during pregnancy when Chuka called her lazy, the smell of his mistress' perfume in their bedroom, the night she cried into her wrapper while her children slept unaware. She remembered everything, and the memory became the fire that kept her moving. As Nena's business soared, Chuka's life took a turn for the worst. The company began to crumble under the weight of poor management and debt. His mistress, who once seemed full of energy and charm, revealed her true color. She drained him emotionally, financially, and socially. She had no interest in helping him rebuild. And when the money slowed down, so did her affection. One evening, Chuka returned home to an empty house. A community festival brought many people back home. The streets buzzed with music, color, and joy. Nina had a stand at the event and her booth drew the largest crowd. Ebuka and Adeze helped her serve suya and rice, while young girls danced nearby. Then she saw him, Chuka, stood at the edge of the crowd. Tina, older with eye full of regret. He approached slowly, unsure. Nina, he called softly. She turned but said nothing. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry for everything. I made a mistake, a big one. She looked at him, the shadow of the man who once towered over her with anger. Your children are thriving, she said, not because of you, but in spite of you. His eyes welled with tears. Can I see them? Even once, Nena shook her head gently. That choice was yours years ago. They needed you then, not now. They've moved on, and so have I. He left without a fight. A year later, Nena opened a very big restaurant, Nena's Kitchen. The grand opening was packed. Madam Kelechi cut the ribbon. Adeze gave a short speech. Ebuka wore a suit and helped serve drink. The mayor himself came to taste her famous nkwobi. As she walked through the dining room that night, greeting guests and checking on her staff, Nena felt whole. Not because she was rich now, but because she had built every stone of this dream with her own pain, sweat, and hope. That evening, While closing up, she found a note on one of the tables. It read, "You made it. I'm proud of you. A friend." She folded it gently and smiled. Years passed. Ebuka got a scholarship to study engineering abroad. Adeze became a chef and helped run the restaurant. Nina began speaking at women's empowerment events, sharing her story. People often asked her, "How did you do it?" She would say, "I remembered who I was before the pay, and I refused to stay broken." One day, while passing through the market where it all began, Nena saw a young woman crying near a food stall. She offered her a hand, just like someone once did for her. And so the cycle of healing again. The woman who was once broken had become the woman who healed others. Her scar no longer wounds. They were map guiding her out of darkness and into light.